the title of a new book to add, right? You can imagine us being allowed to put a lot of information about the book, but for simplicity, it's just going to add the title of the new book, okay? And then there's the done button and the cancel button that do nothing yet, okay? So the first thing that we need to try and figure out is who's going to control this add window, okay? Who's going to control this window that adds things to the to the list? Well, here's the window. The sensible thing to do would be that this view, the list, controls this window, okay? And this view here, the list, is none other than our book's master view controller, okay? So in terms of files, we want our book's master view controller, we want this guy to control the view, this one, that is going to be adding books. So let's do this. First, I'm going to go to the Add Books View controller, and what I am going to add here is I'm going to say, remember this is the little window that allows you to input the title. What I'm going to say here is whoever wants to control me will need to implement a couple of methods. And I do that by creating a protocol. So I'll declare the protocol, and this is how this is done. I'll declare the protocol, and then this is going to be my protocol. Add, usually it's the name of the class and then protocol at the end. So add books view controller, and then I'm sorry, not the word protocol, but the word, whatever, delegate I will put, because the pattern we're going to use for this is the delegate pattern. So I'm going to add a protocol called add books view controller delegate. I could have called it, add books in the new window, fluffy, anything. Okay, I'll just add that protocol, and now I have to declare it here, and I have to define it after the interface. So protocol, the name is add books view controller delegate, and then it follows the protocols of NS object. This is just standard creation of a protocol, and then end. And then here you have two parameters. You can put optional for any optional methods. Now my methods are going to be required, all of them. I'm going to put required methods. Which required methods are here? Well, first, a method to, when you click on the button, you want to add a book. So maybe I'll call it, add book or done, right? So what happens is the button is called done. So done adding book, okay? Done adding books, and then usually what I want to do is whoever's is gonna control me will have to implement that protocol, but I'll have to pass all of my information to that person, all of the text boxes, what's in the text box, and if I have multiple, what's in everything. So I will pass one parameter here, which is an add books view controller. So the same kind this class is, and I'll call it, editor or add window, whatever, Then I'll call another one cancel adding books, and I'm gonna call this, I'm also gonna pass the whole thing just in case. That's the editor window. So what I've created is two methods, done adding books and cancel adding books, okay? So whoever wants to control me, I will make it implement these two methods. That means, in more technical terms, they'll have to implement this protocol, okay? And then how am I going to make sure that whoever's controlling me is implementing this protocol? So how am I going to make sure that is what's going to happen? Well, if I go to my storyboard, I'll go to our Add Books View controller, okay? Let's go to the view, and let's go to the button done, for example. I'll put this guy here. I'm going to just clear the stage a little bit. So there's my done button. I control click on it into the interface here, and I will insert an action. So when the done button is pressed, right? So done button clicked or tapped, right? So this is an iPad. Tapped, done button tapped. I'm going to create that action, and then another one for the cancel button. I'm going to call it another action, cancel button tapped, connect. Okay, so I have two actions. Now I'm going to go in those two actions. Oh, and yeah. And then the other thing that I need, remember, I need someone to control this class. So I'm going to add this as a property here. I'm going to add property strong non-atomic, and then I'm going to say the delegate here. And the delegate is going to be, and you would tend to think, you know, that the delegate for this class, the guy that's going to control this class, should be of class add books view controller delegate. But that is not really a class, that is a protocol. So the way we declare a property of being a class that implements that protocol is by doing this ID, and then in angle brackets the protocol name, and then the variable. We're going to call it delegate or master or overlord. I mean, you can call it anything you want. I'm going to call it delegate just because it's the delegate pattern, and that makes it clear. So I'm going to have, if I go to my .h file here, I'm going to have a property strong non-atomic of a class that implements this protocol that I'm going to call delegate. I could have called it anything else, okay, but delegate. And then the protocol is defined in this class, okay? Now, so far so good. What we need to do now is say who's going to control this class. Well, I said that the books detail view controller was going to control that class. So, so in order for it to control this class, it'll have to implement that protocol. To implement that protocol, you change it in the books detail view and the books master view controller's interface. Okay, books master view controller interface. Okay, now this class thing got added there. It's just so I can use it. What I do want though is this class to be able to see the protocol that I defined in add books view controller. So what I will say here is import add books view controller.h. Okay, I have it here. I used to have it, if you remember, in the .m file. If I go all the way up, add books view controller.h. It's not important anymore. If I bring it in the header, I don't need to bring it in the .m file. So now I have add books view controller. So now I need to tell this thing to actually implement that protocol. So after the classes that are the parent classes, I'll just put angle brackets and I'll say add books view controller delegate, one protocol. Okay, so the books master view controller implements the add books view controller delegate. What does that mean? Well, it means that I'll have to implement the methods in this delegate. Okay, so we'll come back to this in a second, but I want you to get the structure right. We have an add books view controller that is that implements a protocol called delegate, basically saying if you want to control this window, you'll have to implement this delegate. And then the master view controller, which, you know, when you click on the plus sign, it's going to open that window. Well, I want him to be the one that controls the adding of the books. the one that implements the protocol. So in the .h, I need to have it implement that protocol. Now, how is this going to work? How does it know the AddBooks view controller when a button is tapped? Remember, I created these two actions here. When a button is tapped, how does it know to call the delegate methods? Well, we do that by saying, where's the methods? Here. Done button tapped. Well, what I'm going to say is self.delegate, okay? And then I'm going to call the, what are the methods of the delegate? Just to remember, is done adding books. And I will pass the window where the books were adding, so self. That's what happens. And then here, when I click on cancel, it'll be the delegate's cancel adding books method that's going to be called. You see, so whenever I tap the button, that's going to go to a different class. And then when I tap cancel, that's going to go to a different class. Okay? This is how we tie this AddBooks view controller, the little window, to the class that's going to actually manage it, the class that's going to be the master of it. Okay? There's one little thing left to do here, and it's this text box. We want to create an outlet for it because we're going to need it, right? If we want to know what's in here, we're going to need an outlet. So I'm just going to throw the outlet here, and I'm going to call it book title text box connect. That is how we connect the classes. We have connected all of our classes now. This AddBooks view controller is a little window that opens up that allows me to add a book. Whenever I click on add, I will actually call the delegate's done adding book methods and cancel adding books. And I do that by, when done adding book is tapped, then I'm going to call the delegates method. And this done button tapped was the action that I created for the buttons. You can see this clearly when you click on the button, and when you click on the button and you have the inspector and you go to here, you'll see immediately here when the event is touch up inside, there's AddBooks view controller, whatever method, and then cancel button tapped. Okay, so touch up inside is tied to the AddBooks view controller, the cancel button tapped. Okay, and what happens with the done button? If I click on the done button, well, the touch up inside, I'm going to call done button tapped on the AddBooks view controller. Add button tap and done button tapped actually call in turn the delegate. So this is like a two-step jump. Okay. So then the next thing that I need to code is actually the adding of the of this. Like I said, we had the AddBooks view controller being a little window that opens up when I click on the plus sign of the detail view controller, and the books master view controller is going to control that window. Every text that you enter there, I want to be able to take it and put it back in the source of the table. So let's try to see this visually. This will not compile, but I want you to see this visually. I want you to see why it doesn't compile, and then we'll see it visually. So, well, it did compile, but with warnings, and those warnings are what I'm going to take care of. So, when I have the master, I have a list of books. I want to add another book, so I'll click plus, and then when we click plus, I made it in a past video so that this AddBooks view controller window will pop up. That's the window, and the idea is that if I enter anything here, okay, if I enter anything here, any title, and I click on cancel or done, the proper action will be happening. And what I want is this text field, the text contained in this text field, to go back to the list and be added. Basically, I want the text of this field to go back to the Books Master View controller. Right now, it's in this window, which is the Add Books View controller. I want to pass it back. And I do that via delegates. Now, in the Books Master View controller, I am implementing, if I go to the .h file, I am implementing the Add Books View controller delegate, which I defined here. The Add Book View controller delegate has two methods, done adding books and cancel adding books. So I have to implement those methods. So I'm going to go all the way down here. I'm going to put a pragma mark add books view controller delegate. This is just for my own comments. And I'm going to implement this method. So the first one was void, I believe cancel adding books with an editor. So what I'm passing as editor is the actual window, is all the actual components of the window. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say ns log action canceled, just so we know what happened. And then what I want, and then, you know, I'm going to say action canceled. And then when I'm adding books, void no, it was done adding books. I'm also going to get the editor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the editor's text field text. So I'm going to do ns string new title. It's going to be equals to that editor, basically the window where it came from, dot, and the text field is title. Nope. What was the book title? Book title text box dot text. Okay, so my new title is going to be that, and then I'm going to add this new title to my array. So self.books, remember that's where I had my my array, is add object new title, and then I'm going to reload the table. So I'll say self.table view, so the table view within me, reload data. Before we can see this, there's one more thing. This is the delegate, right? Now, when the books master view controller opens that little table, that little window, it has to tell it that it's going to be its delegate as well. So remember where we open, when we click on Insert New Object, that's when we opened the Add Books View controller window. And we just presented it. What we need to do, though, is to say this add window, set delegate to myself, to the Books Master View controller, because that is the one that's implementing the delegate protocol. Okay? And just for logging purposes, I'm going to put here an ns log at the end, ns log title inserted. So let's try this. Oops, my ns log is wrong. Little o. Okay. Compile. I go to master, I click on plus, the window opens up, and if I say, for example, I don't know, cooking with style, and I hit cancel, you can see that the ns log of the cancel button took place, action cancel, right? This is the ns log for that one. Well, what if we insert the title? So I say done. Well, title inserted. But this window's still up here. We need to get rid of that. And the way that we can get rid of that is by telling it to go away when we click the done or the cancel button. So let's go here where we click the done or cancel button. You can do it on the delegate as well, but we'll just do it on the window itself. We'll do done adding books, and then we'll also say here, remember now I am on the little window that allows me to add titles. Self dismiss view controller animated, yes. And then in completion here, you'll say null. Nil also works, okay? But by the nature that this thing is, null is the more correct, I would say, keyword to use there. You can use nil. So the next one I'm going to use nil. Dismiss view controller, yes. Completion, nil. What happens in that completion is I can pass another function. I can create a whole new sequence of statements that go after this. Okay? Okay, so in the cancel, when I cancel and when I hit done, after the delegate has done its thing, I'm going to dismiss that view. So let's see how that works. Alright, I have a master's. I'm going to add another book. I'm going to say cooking with style, cooking with style. I'm going to say cancel, and that went back to my list, and the window left. Now if I say cooking with style here, cooking with style, and I click done, what happens is cooking with style is now here, and everything works, you know, the detail works exactly as expected. That concludes our adding a book for this table view. The next time we're going to edit a book's name.